What's up, my Century Units? It's the Sentiment here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. Before we get to this classic WWE pay-per-view review, if you don't or able to hear a sound in the background, I just turned on a fan because today is really hot. It's nearly 30 degrees. I am not reviewing a classic WWE pay-per-view review without any cold air. Anyway, so today I'm reviewing WWE Money in the Bank 2013. So this show was at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is in ECW territory on the 14th of July 2013. I know we're in June. This show's in July because this year's Money in the Bank show in our current timeline in 2023. It's also in July. You know, I haven't reviewed a classic Money in the Bank show in ages. I think the last classic Money in the Bank show I reviewed on this channel was Money in the Bank 2011. So it's been almost 2 years. So anyway, so the attendance of the show was 15,000. This show drew about 199,000 pay-per-view buys. This is the highly bought Money in the Bank pay-per-view in history. Wow, 199,000 pay-per-view buys. Wow, it's very close in that 200,000 mark. I thought Money in the Bank 2011 was the highly bought Money in the Bank show, because it was in Chicago. It was John Cena versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. CM Punk won the title in his hometown of Chicago in the self-proclaimed final night with the company. But unfortunately, that's not the case because Money in the Bank 2011 drew about 195,000 pay-per-view buys. This draw for more than the 2011 show. It's just what it is, and I think this is the last Money in the Bank pay-per-view on some kind of streaming website. This is in the pre-network era because the following year WWE launched the network, and the rest is history. Anyway, so the commentators for the show are Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, and JBL. So this show, Money in the Bank 2013, is known for, spoiler alert, the return of Rob Van Dam. We'll get to RVD later on in this review. This is the final Money in the Bank pay-per-view to take place in July until the 2021 show. You know, after 2013, they are able to do Money in the Bank shows in a May or June portion. I don't know why they move this show to May or June throughout, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. It's just what it is. And, I'm glad this year's Money in the Bank show, it's in July once again. It's in London. It'll be the first Money in the Bank pay-per-view to take place outside of the United States and North America for the first time. That'll be in a few weeks' time when I do my predictions and self-proclaimed review of the 2023 Money in the Bank show. Stay tuned. Anyway, so let's review the pre-show. I want to talk about the pre-show. And by the way, I forgot to mention this. The 2012 Money in the Bank show drew about 188,000 pay-per-view buys. Forgot to mention that. Anyway, so let's talk about the pre-show. So the pre-show. This is the first of 5 championships. So we have, on the show, you got the Tag Team Championship, the Divas Championship, the Intercontinental Championships, and the 2 World Title matches, on this show. We'll get to the other championship matches later on in this review. So, anyway, so the first match, this is the first of 5 championship matches on the show. This is on the pre-show. It's on YouTube, by the way. We got the Shield. We got the 2/3 of the Shield, that is Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins defending the WWE Championship against the Usos. I think this is one of the first matches of Roman facing his cousins. It's very funny, like in our current timeline, Roman's in his middle of this rivalry. You could say the explosion of the bloodline with Roman feuding with one of Roman's cousins, one of the Uso brothers. I don't know, it's Jimmy or Jay. It's funny, like travel back 10 years prior. I think it's the first matches of Roman would face his cousins. Jimmy and Jay. Anyway, so the Shield won the belts. I think it was at Extreme Rules in I think it was in May against Team Hell No. So I don't know about the Shield's tag team title reigns, but it's been a long time. Since I watched 2013 WWE Product. I watched TNA and WWE at the time. Anyway, so I think like the build up to this, I think the Usos won a number one contenders match to face the Shield. Um, on this show. Unfortunately, it's on the pre-show. It's a shame it's not on the main show. Anyway, so it's just Seth and Roman, because at this moment in time, Dean's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. We'll get to that later on. This match between the Shield and the Usos, this has got to be the best WWE pre-show I ever seen. But most of the time I've seen pre-show matches, they end up being bathroom breaks. Just before the show kicked off, and kind of dull. They never like produce a really good pre-show match they ever done. I think this match between the Shield and the Usos is the best they ever done. I really like this match. It's a shame they never had like a proper rivalry. I don't think they had a proper rivalry for the belts. I think there's some chemistry between the Shield and the Usos. It's a really good match. I think there was one more of the match. I think they did there was a Tower of Doom spot. That was really good. It's funny, like the Shield at this moment in time. You can tell they got the Shield is one of the best. Like before the Bloodline, by the way. The Shield at the time was got to be one of the best factions in WWE since Evolution 10 years prior, and then we never got a good faction until until the Bloodline, Roman's group. Anyway, so this was really good. Those one more of the match. The Usos hit their tag team finisher, the Usos splash on. I think it was on Rollins. You thought that they're gonna win the tag team belts. They believe in this match they would probably beat the Shield for the tag team titles. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Roman broke up the pinfall. In the end, Seth hit the buckle powerbomb, the turnbuckle powerbomb onto Jimmy OJ. Then Roman followed with the spear to win this match and retain the tag team titles. I think this has got to be the best Uso match. Until they had first of many great matches for the Usos in the next couple years, in the next 10 years, because before that, I don't think the Usos never had like a breakout performance. They've been in the company since 2010 and never have a breakout performance. I think this is kind of like a breakout performance for Jimmy and Jay. They went on to have better matches or great matches, later on in their careers, with the New Day and the Street Profits. I'm trying to think. I can't remember. Did that? I think they beat. I think they beat the Outlaws. If it was, I can't remember they beat the Outlaws. Yeah, they beat the Outlaws. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of matches Usos been in, and also the TLC match in 2015 with the New Day. The Los Matadores. Sin Cara and Kalisto. I'm talking about that TLC match in 2015. Yeah, this is first of many matches that the Usos will have in the next 10 years, to the present day. So, anyway, that was the pre-show match. Go and check it out, man. It's got to be one of the best pre-show match they ever did in the WWE. So, before we get to the main show, there's one segment to talk about before, otherwise I'm going to end up forget about it. Anyway, so it is a forgettable segment, by the way, but I don't want to talk about it before we get to the actual matches on the main show. Otherwise, I'm going to end up forgetting about it, and then by the time I upload this review on my channel, I'll go, holy shit, I forgot this segment. But anyway, so the only segment on this show, you had Brad Maddox. He's just the Raw GM, because at this moment in time, the brand split was no more of the first brand split until they brought it back in 2016. On the Go Home Raw, I think it was the Go Home Raw, Stephanie fired. Actually, she's not really the Raw GM. She was the Raw Supervisor. That is actually a stupid name, but anyway, so Stephanie fired Vicky Guerrero. By the way, Vicky was on the panel at the pre-show. Brad Mannix, was basically bashing, bashing the fans of Philadelphia, but at the same time praising Vicky, and showing a video package, of Vicky Guerrero. Brad Mannix is terrible. I don't know why they keep bringing him back. I got he's gone, but like they should have got killed off after the Shield annihilate him. But unfortunately, they always bring him back, as the GM. They brought him back in 2016. I'm gonna say Brad Mannix is shit. He cannot wrestle. He's not a good talker. His promo was forgettable. It was stupid. He's just got no personality. I don't know what they're seeing into him. Here's the one thing about it. This is in 2014. This is 1 year later. This is at the time when Punk left the company. They trying to reboot CM Punk. Had Brad Mannix portraying CM Punk, and that's like, what the fuck? That is sacrilege. This dude, like I said, can't wrestle, can't cut promo for shit. He's just like kind of there. He's just like that. He's just hugging TV time. He's just got no personality and charisma. He's just there. Praising Vicky Guerrero, making the fans cheer, hip hip, free cheers for Vicky, blah blah blah. Vicky, like or not, Vicky Guerrero is better than Brad Mannix. Even though he doesn't get any boos, he gets some boos, but not like Vicky Guerrero. When Vicky Guerrero shouts "Excuse me," fans starting to boo at Vicky. You can tell the fans, they don't really hate Vicky Guerrero. I think she is a good heel. She's a comedy heel. The stuff with Edge, he was a bit seriously, and then by the time with stuff with in that relationship, kayfabe relationship with Dolph Ziggler, she was leaning more into that comedy side. With Brad Mannix, he's just not. I got you. He's gone. I'm gonna repeat myself. He's just kind of there. He can't cut a promo for shit. No personality, no charisma. I think that at this moment in time, the heel authority figure has run its course. This is this show's pre-authority era. That's another story for another time. Anyway, that was and also why they done this on this show. Because I said it once, I say it again, I'm going to say it many more times. Doing segments on pay-per-views just simply do not work, in a wrestling pay-per-view, because wrestling pay-per-views are designed for, they basically are live highlight reels. The matches take center stage. People are going to say, complain, oh, we're in wrestling pay-per-views, where are the segments and promos? It's a pay-per-view. You're not going to get a lot of segments. Like I said, the matches are live. Matches take center stage. It's a live action reel. You're not going to get a lot of segments. I wish they just done this on Raw the following night, but not on your pay-per-view at the time you're spending a lot of money. So that's my spiel on this Brad Mannix promo. Anyway, so let's talk about the matches on the main show. So the first match to kick off the main show, this is I don't really call it the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match, because at this moment in time, the brand split is officially no more. This is the Money in the Bank ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship contract. So the competitors in this in the first Money in the Bank ladder match of this show, we got Team Rhodes Scholars, that is Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes. We got the Real Americans. This is the first pay-per-view match as the Real for Cesaro and Swagger. Right now in AEW they are Claudio Castagnoli and Jake Hager. They use their real names, but that's actually their real names, Jake Hager and Claudio Castagnoli. This is their first pay-per-view match teaming as a tag team. I'll get to the Seb Coulter promo shortly. We got Wade Barrett and Fandango, and also we got the United States Champion Dean Ambrose represent the Shield. So basically this is I'm guessing this is the first and only Money in the Bank ladder match with heels, not a single babyface wrestler in this ladder match. So anyway, before this, you had Seb Coulter cutting a promo on he was bashing, if the former American presidents were there. He brings up George Washington and John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin. I don't think they're American president. they're kind of the they bring up the founding fathers. You know, he said like if they were there in Philadelphia, they'll be absolutely discuss what they see. You know, if was it called Betty Ross? Not Betty Ross. You know, the character from the Incredible Hulk. You know, I think she created the American flag. You know, she rather like stitch up a burrito and taco. You know, he says shame on you, Philadelphia. And then Damien Sandow says, you know, that he called the fans of Philadelphia slapjaw mouth breathers, man. But besides that, good promo for Seb Coulter. You know, even his gimmick, he bashed the what's wrong with today's what's wrong with the American way in the current time. Anyway, so let's talk about this match. This match was really good. I really like this match. You know, even though there was no single baby faces on in this ladder match. You know, the fans really like. You know, if it was in a different, if this show is not in Philadelphia, they might not care, or they probably do not care. But since it's Philadelphia, they kind of care. You know, I really like this match. You know, for what it is. You know, they're using the ladders. There's one spot. It's between Cesaro and at the time it was Antonio Cesaro, not Cesaro. It becomes Cesaro the following year in 2014. But yet Swagger and Cesaro grabbing two ends of the ladder. Dean Ambrose was on that ladder. He did like the skin the cat on the ladder. That was pretty cool, you know. And he's trying to grab the briefcase, but instead Swagger and Cesaro kind of dumped Ambrose off the ladder into the at ringside. So anyway, this was really good, you know. Yeah, you got the Shield members interfered, you know. I think they're attacking. I think it was Cody Rhodes they attack, you know. Rollins and Rollins and Reigns attack Cody Rhodes, and then the Usos come around, and then in the end, I think like someone did like a spot. I can't remember. It's been almost a week and a half since I reviewed the show. My memory about the show. I saw this at the time. My memory's a bit fuzzy. I can't really able to remember what's going on. But anyway, so I think Rhodes pushed Ambrose off the ladder and into the other competitors in this ladder match. You know, I thought like Cody would win it. You know, seeing Cody's about to win this briefcase. You know, but instead he got pushed off by Damien Sandow. And Sandow grabbed the ladder and retrieved the briefcase. And Damien Sandow is the World Heavyweight Champion. World Heavyweight. He's I can't really call it SmackDown missing the Money in the Bank. You know, it's hard because at this moment in time, you know, there was no brand split. You know, so he's basically the World Heavyweight Championship Mr. Money in the Bank briefcase holder. And seeing Cody disappointed, he got betrayed by his friend / tag team partner Damien Sandow. Yeah, I believe the fans were cheering for Cody. You know, I think Cody had a good performance. You know, by the way, when I saw this, you know, for the preparation for the show, my memory's gonna be a little bit fuzzy. I can't remember the spots in this match. I don't go around like spot move for move. It's just what it is, you know. And also, actually, I forgot to mention this. One more of the match here, Cody hit Cesaro with the muscle buster onto a ladder near the corner. It was at this one time Samoa Joe's in TNA. Anyway, it's a shame. I don't think they did the TNA, but it's glad to see Cody hitting the muscle buster onto Cesaro. That was good. Almost forgot to mention that, you know. Fandango. I forgot to mention Fandango's in this ladder match. I forgot to mention that. You know, Fandango was also in this ladder match. You know, had a good, decent performance. I think he hit like some kind of sunflip powerbomb onto one of the competitors. You know, even though I don't think he's world championship material. You know, I don't think he had no business to be in that Money in the Bank ladder match. But he had an okay performance. You know. But anyway, Damien Sandow missed like I said, the World Heavyweight Championship Mr. Money in the Bank briefcase holder. You know, this is the start of the one match pay-per-view feud between Sandow and Cody Rhodes. You know, like I think it was the next night on Raw. Cody turned on Sandow, and Sandow ended up customize his own briefcase. He ditched the blue briefcase. You won't see that. By the way, this is the final time they did the World Heavyweight Championship and WWE Championship contract money back ladder matches. This is the last pay per view with the two Money Bank ladder matches until 2018 because the end of the year they unify both the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships. Then between 14 to 16 they did one Money Bank ladder match a year. That's for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and and then 2017 onwards they introduced the women's Money Bank ladder match. I forgot to mention that. So anyway, so after the aftermath, Cody turned on Damien Sandow. This was the end. On this show, Team Road Scholars has exploded. Cody shaved the mustache, beat Sandow at SummerSlam the next month. And it's really a shame for Damien Sandow. I'm gonna say right now before we move on to the rest of the next matches on the further matches on the show. Sorry, I'm stumbling. Like I said, it's hot. I'm trying to get boom boom bam. Anyway, if this review goes above an hour, so beat it. So anyway, so for Sandow, it's a shame. I think Damien Sandow was good, even though he's an okay worker, but as a character, he is really over. I like him in the NWA as Aaron Stevens, the expiring actor. It's a shame, man. I think they should have done much more with Damien Sandow. I think him losing to John Cena, because in October, this was the Raw after, I think it was the Raw after Hell in a Cell. Cena won the World Heavyweight Championship against Alberto Del Rio. Sandow cashed his Money in the Bank briefcase onto Cena. They had that match, and Cena beat him. That was got to be the biggest burial by John Cena, on the same level as the Nexus in 2010. After that, Sandow was gone. He was kind of like a normal guy on the roster. He's doing this whole impersonation gimmicks, and then I think the only gimmick kind of revived. I think him teaming up with the Miz, becoming Damien Mizdow, kind of revived him a bit. Yeah, they did that bullshit Mega Power revival or reboot with teaming up with Curtis Axel, but yeah, I think they should have did more with Damien Sandow. I think his character was something you never seen before. I compare him to Lanny Poffo. They both have similar gimmicks. With Sandow, he keep calling his opponents and the fans ignoramus. It's a shame. They should have done more with him. I think I could see him being a good champion, whether he was a world champion or a mid-card champion, but they really dropped the ball with Damien Sandow, man. It's just one of the what-ifs in the last 10 years in WWE. Anyway, so that was the opener, so let's move on to the next match of the night. After this, the undercard went downhill. And by the way, by the way, there was no bad matches on the show. I'm going to say when I get to my overall thoughts on the show in the end. There was no ugly matches. The undercard were kind of filler. Anyway, so the next match, this is the second of 5 championship matches on the show. This is for the Intercontinental Championship. We got Curtis Axel defending the Intercontinental Championship with Paul Heyman in his corner, taking on The Miz. Curtis Axel won the belt at Payback the previous month. By the way, years ago I reviewed the first Payback show. Go and check it out. Anyway, so it was in a triple threat match between Miz and Wade Barrett. Curtis Axel, man, yeah, I call it Rocky Maivia. I'll get to that comparison shortly. This match between him and The Miz, I'm not saying it was a bad match. Like I said, there's no bad matches on the show. They're just kind of there. I feel like rematches from Payback. Anyway, so it was just kind of feel like a match on Raw. Don't feel like a pay-per-view worthy match. One more with the match. You had Miz. Got Paul Heyman banned from ringside. He did the Eddie Guerrero stuff. The fans were booing the Miz. The referee, saw Miz on the ground. You thought Heyman hit him, so banned him. The fans chanting, "We want Heyman back." I think Miz jumped the shark. I think Miz is got exposed. I think that babyface Miz has run its course. Miz was better off as a heel. He plays the heel pretty damn well when he was a babyface. Yeah, he was babyface in 2019, but that was just like during the feud with Shane McMahon. Another story for another time. Anyway, nothing much to talk about in this match. Miz locking the figure four leg lock onto Axel. In the end, Axel hit like a face, I think it was a net breaker to win this match and retain the Intercontinental Championship. So, Curtis Axel, man, he's basically, the reason why I call him Rocky Maivia 2.0, I don't really compare Joe Hennig to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, because they're both different. Curtis Axel is just kind of meh. He's an average wrestler. The Rock is a good athlete. Yeah, I think that, yeah, they kind of like changed his name to Curtis Axel. It was too little, too late, because before that he was Michael McGillicuddy. He was part of the second series of NXT. This was years when NXT was a game show before the NXT you see right now, and 2.0. And then he was part of Nexus, and he was kind of like a jobber at this moment in time, and decided to give this push. Let's change his name, using his father's name. That's Curtis. Curtis, he's the father of Curt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect, and Axel, his his grandfather's nickname, that's Larry the Axe Hennig. Yeah, people were not buying into this. I think this push, it didn't really do anything. I think he won the IC. I think it was too much too soon. The fans do not care about Curtis Axel. He was kind of like in this feud with Triple H. I feel like it kind of worked. And then at this moment in time, they kind of changed plans. I wish they did this feud between him and Triple H. It could really elevate his stocks, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So yeah, Axel went on to drop the belt in October, and The Miz, he kind of slightly turned heel in October. That's another story for another time. So moving on to the next match. So the next match, this is for the Divas Championship. AJ Lee defending the belt against Caitlyn. This is a rematch from Payback. Because at this moment in time, they end up doing these AJ, referring to AJ Lee, we're doing this whole fat shaming storyline towards Caitlyn. It's not on the same level as Piggy James, between this rivalry between Mickey James and Lay Cool. They kind of like showing picture screens of Caitlyn being fat, but that's a load of BS, because at this moment in time, Caitlyn, she's a bodybuilder, ex-bodybuilder. I think it was a bit tacky and just weak. Anyway, the match was okay for what it is, I think it was the weakest, but it was not say bad. I think kicked up. I think AJ kicked out of the spear. Can't remember. She kicked out of Caitlyn's gutbuster attempt. Anyway, so in the end, AJ locked in the Black Widow onto Caitlyn. Caitlyn tapped out. I think, in my opinion, wish they made her like passed out off the hold, but that's just me. But Caitlyn tapped out. AJ retains the Divas Championship. And that was it. So, AJ's title reign, I think, at this moment in time, I don't think AJ needs to be champion. I think she doesn't really need to be champion, I don't think she had a really great run. She was not. I think AJ's not really a good worker. She's an okay worker, but she's a good talker. But in the ring, she's kind of okay-ish. But as for Caitlyn never got one sniff of the Divas Championship ever again. She left the company in the beginning of 2014. Yeah, she came back years later for the Mae Young Classic, but it's a shame for Caitlyn. I think Caitlyn is an okay worker. She was green in her first years in the company, and then by the time in 2012, in late 2012, she's starting to improve. I wish they'd done something more with Caitlyn, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So let's move on to the next match. And also with Biggie Langston, I'll call him Biggie Langston. I don't know why they shorten his name to Big E. That's complete stupid. That's just me. Maybe I'm just the minority, but it's just what it is. Anyway, Let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is the only non-title match and non-Money in the Bank ladder match on this show. We got Ryback taking on Chris Jericho. This revolved around, this was in a match against the Miz. Ryback. Miz was working on the leg of Ryback. Ryback, couldn't able to continue. Jericho was mocking Ryback. Called him a crybaby. Did you hurt your leg? And he called him cryback. I don't know, man. This match. I thought this was gonna be a bad match, but in reality, it was an okay match. I think Jericho tried to get the best out of Ryback. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It was okay. It was basically speed versus agility. Oh no, speed versus strength. My apologies. Like I say, it's hot. I'm not really thinking straight. Anyway, so Jericho is the speed and agility. Ryback's the strength. In the end, it was a bit boring. In the end, Ryback rolled up Jericho for the win. In my opinion, I wish they Ryback hit Jericho with the shell shock, and that was it. But I understand they're trying to protect Jericho. I get it, but I think that was a weak finish, and this was the end of Jericho's run. Because at this moment, because the next, I think in the next, because I think it was the Raw and SmackDown, he had a match against Curtis Axel. He got attacked by Axel and Ryback. It's a way to ring off Chris Jericho, because at this moment in time, Jericho was more working part time. He was more focused on because he was touring with Fozzy, and he got his show called But I'm Chris Jericho. He's focused, on other action adventures. The next time Jericho wrestle full-time and a full-time schedule will be 2016-2017. Ryback winning, it didn't really help. It didn't amount to anything. He ended up doing the bully gimmick, teaming up with Paul Heyman, and he did do nothing, Yeah, the only thing he was relevant when he's going back to the 2012 Ryback, and also winning the IC title in 2014 and 2015. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is the fourth of 5 championship matches on the show. This is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Alberto Del Rio defending the belt against Dolph Ziggler. This is a rematch from Payback when Del Rio won the belt from Dolph Ziggler and led up to the double turn, because in that Payback match, Del Rio was the babyface, Ziggler was the heel, and vice versa on this show. Alberto Del Rio is the heel, Ziggler is the babyface. This is Ziggler's first match as the babyface. The build up to this, you had Ziggler dressing up like Sin Cara and dressed up like a mariachi band member to get a one-up on Del Rio. Del Rio came out with his upbeat theme music. I wish he'd go back to the Mexican Aristocrat. Even though I'm not really a big fan of Del Rio, but I think the babyface Del Rio has run its course. I think people like him as the Mexican Aristocrat. He's the wealthy Mexican guy who brags about his wealth. Anyway, I wish it's a shame he never go back to that gimmick ever again throughout his first and second run in the company. The match was good. I think the match was really good. This match was good. The build up to this is about Ziggler's concussion, like the whole bulk of the match. Del Rio working on the head of Ziggler, like punching him, kicking him in the process. This is I think it's the only Del Rio match. Without if you watch a Del Rio match, Del Rio goes for the arm to set up the cross arm breaker. But in this match against Dolph Ziggler, he was not going for the arm. He was going for the head. Playing up to Ziggler's. Is he fit? Is it playing up to his concussion history? I said it before. I see in my review of Royal Rumble 2001. My apologies, and Judgment Day 07. Doing a storyline with concussions just simply is tacky, because some wrestlers end up ending their careers with concussions. So anyway, for this, I think they played fine. The ending was a bit weak, I think he kicked out. I don't think Ziggler hit the finish. I don't think Ziggler hit hit the famous but Del Rio kicked out. I think he kicked like the Izaguri kick, Ziggler took blows to the head. I thought Ziggler would concuss, but unfortunately that's not the case. In the end, the ending was a bit weak. AJ come around without Big E. He kind of throw the white towel. Actually, I didn't. Not the white towel. He hits Del Rio with the Divas towel belt. That caused a disqualification. The only match ended in a disqualification, and that was it. That lit up the next night on Raw when AJ and Big E attacked Dolph Ziggler, because at this moment in time before this, even though Ziggler was a babyface, he was still teaming up with AJ Lee and Big E Langston, and then I wish they'd done this on this show, and this set up a mixed tag team match at SummerSlam between Big E Langston, AJ Lee taking on Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn. And I said it in my review of Payback 2013, I'm going to say it right now, I think Ziggler turned babyface. I think that was the kiss of death. Ziggler was so over, in 2010, 2011, 2012, when he was a mid-card champion, a Mr. Money in the Bank holder, and the beginnings of his world title reign, it was over. And then when they did the double turn, because at the moment in time, I think the bloom fell off the rose for Del Rio as the babyface. But I think, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just the minority of this. I wish they I wish they keep Ziggler as the heel. I think he plays the character pretty damn well, because when he was a babyface, he had some success, but unfortunately it was kind of like falling flat. Yeah, he turned heel right now. He's a heel right now, but yeah, he was kind of like too little, too late. At the same time, he's turned into Shawn Michaels 2.0. I wish they just like turn him heel and just go back being the show off. Instead of becoming, he's Shawn Michaels. He's doing the super kick. He's just like reminds the fans Shawn Michaels, not Dolph Ziggler. Some people compare him as Billy Gunn, badass Billy Gunn. The one dream match I wish they had is Dolph Ziggler, Billy Gunn. Unfortunately, that's not really the case. So anyway, let's move on to the next match. This is for the WWE Championship. John Cena defending the belt against Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. This is leading up to Mark Henry attack John Cena. Henry did the whole fake retirement speech, attack John Cena. Back then and right now, the foregone conclusion on this show, of course, Cena is retaining. Cena is going to retain. This is filler feud for Cena leading up to his match at SummerSlam. We'll get to that later on. Anyway, the match, I don't say it was bad. People give it 3 stars. I don't want to give it 3 stars. I don't think it was a good match. I think it was okay. It's a typical basic John Cena match. Sometimes Cena has some good matches. Sometimes Cena has some okay matches. Very rare Cena has some very bad matches. This was okay-ish. The whole bulk of the match, you had Henry working on John Cena. But Cena got his comeback. In the end, Cena locked in the STF onto Mark Henry to tap him out. Cena retains. And then in the end, he thought to go hit Mark Henry with the WWE title belt, but instead Henry was limping. It didn't injure his knee. He's like, feeling the effects of the STF. It's basically working on the leg and the neck area. But to me, I think at this moment in time, the bloom fell off the rose of Mark Henry. I think, his character was that ship is sailed for Mark Henry, man. He had his has that time in the sunlight when he was the world champion in 2011. But it was very predictable that Cena was going to win. I'm not saying it was terrible, but it was just kind of okay. I feel like kind of meh, and predictable. It's very funny. Like in 2013 matches, I knew that Cena would win against The Rock at WrestleMania 23 way back in April, and fast forward in July against Mark Henry. It's very predictable. I feel like in 2013, not all, but some of these matches on pay-per-view feature John Cena, knowing that Cena is going to win. So moving on to the main event. This is the WWE Contract Money in the Bank ladder match, and this is all the baby faces on this ladder match. In this ladder match for the red briefcase, I call it. the contenders in this Money in the Bank ladder match. We got CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Sheamus, Christian. This is Christian's last ladder match until his ladder match against Wardlow at Double or Nothing. 10 years later, and RVD, the return of Rob Van Dam. This is RVD's first match. First match since really since he paired a one-off at the Royal Rumble in 2009. His first match of his since his first run in 2007. His final match of his first run in the company was against Randy Orton in 2007. Then 2 years later he came back for a one-off compete in the 2009 Royal Rumble match. Then he spent most of the time in the Indies and TNA. He was the TNA World Champion, the TNA X Division Champion. This is his first match in years. The start of this match. It's funny. Like the first ladder match, Money in the Bank ladder match, you had all the heels, and then this ladder match in the main event, you got all the baby faces. The early starts of the match, the baby faces were ganging up on RVD. RVD was doing the Rob Van Dam, and the fans beating up and the wrestler. You had Punk, Orton, Sheamus, Bryan, Christian beating down RVD. The fans booed. Sheamus suffered a injury. I think he injured his limbon in his shoulder. Sheamus took some nasty bumps in this match, and that was the reason why he injured his shoulder. He won't see Sheamus again until the spring of next year, because this was his last match before he got hurt. He bust his ass off. I think one of the match, I think he kicked him, or I think he got kicked off. He was trying to hit a move off the top rope. I think it was Bryan or RVD pushed him off, and then he kind of crashed onto a ladder near the announce table and near the ring apron. The fans were booing Sheamus. They had this Daniel Bryan was much over at this moment in time. It was believing that Bryan would win it, because he was Money in the Bank winner before in 2011 when he won the World Heavyweight Championship contract Money in the Bank ladder match of that year's Money in the Bank show in 2011. He went on to win the World Heavyweight title at the end of that year. Anyway, at the time, Bryan was red hot at the time. He was climbing on top of the ladder. Him and Sheamus fought on the ladder. They did the punches. The fans chanted yes and no. Yeah, they're chanting no at Sheamus, and Sheamus did his typical hitting his opponent's chest. Instead of their counting, they end up just chanting no. That was kind of funny. Anyway, I can't really find who had the best shut up performance. RVD, he hit I think it was the 5-star frog splash. I think it was on Sheamus or Daniel Bryan. It's one or the other. I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks. Anyway, so I think it was Sheamus bump his ass off, man. Yeah, and also we got a betrayal. I forgot to mention this. Punk was about to climb the ladder and try to grab the briefcase. Outcome, no, it was Bryan. My apologies. Sorry, my memory's a bit fuzzy. When I watched it back in 2013, and the second time for the preparation for this review, Bryan was about to trying to grab the briefcase. Outcomes, Curtis Axel attacked Daniel Bryan with the chair, executing a hangman facebuster onto Bryan. Punk execute the GTS onto Axel, and then out comes Paul Heyman, says, "What are you doing? Did he ask you to come down here? What's wrong with you?" Anyway, so he's trying to support CM Punk. He wants CM Punk to win, but unfortunately, it was a swerve. He attacked CM Punk, knocked him off the ladder, attacked him. Punk was bleeding, completely bleeding buckets. I think Orton was bleeding as well. He was bleeding between the nose. It's funny, I think they kind of slightly ignore, because they banned blood in 2008. And then if you watch a match, you end up showing it the black and white screen of blood, because blood. I wish they stopped doing that, man. Because blood tells story. They need to add color. Glad they add color. Punk was having the sideburns, because at the time he had that Wolverine film just came out, or soon to came out. I can't remember what month of 2013 it came out. That Wolverine film. But anyway, Heyman attacked Punk with the ladder. And then this is leading up to CM Punk's rivalry with Paul Heyman, leading up to SummerSlam, Night of Champions, Battleground, and the blow off at Hell in a Cell. That's another story another time. RVD, Orton hit the RKO out of nowhere onto RVD off the ladder. He climbed the ladder, retrieved the briefcase, and Randy Orton is the WWE Championship contract Money in the Bank briefcase holder. People don't want Orton. I think people want to see CM Punk or Daniel Bryan or even RVD. Christian, maybe, because Christian never won a Money in the Bank ladder. He never won the Money in the Bank ladder match. You know, he's put in 4 or 5. He put in the first one, the one in WrestleMania 25, the one in WrestleMania 26, the SmackDown one in 2010. The previous one in 2012, so this is his 6th Money in the Bank ladder match and never won one. You know, it's kind of like predictability, and Orton was it's really funny at hindsight. You know, I'll get to the aftermath shortly. So yeah, it's a way. I wish they have the fans leaving the arena happier, because at the time they were booing because Sheamus and Orton, their characters was really stale. But that's just me. So here comes the aftermath. So the aftermath in this after Money in the Bank 2013. So John Cena announced that Daniel Bryan will be his opponent at SummerSlam. That Daniel Bryan wanted to beat John Cena at that year's SummerSlam, and then when Triple H was the special guest referee, then Triple H turned on Daniel Bryan. You know, and out comes Randy Orton. Orton cashing the briefcase onto Daniel Bryan. This set up the rivalry between Orton and Bryan going into the autumn of 2013. And also, this has kicked off the Authority era of WWE. And that's another story for another time. So, my final rating for Money in the Bank 2013. Overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. People say this is the best Money in the Bank, best Money in the Bank show since Money in the Bank 2011. For me, I kind of disagree. There have been better ones over the next few years. Like 2022 show was kind of good. I didn't see 2021. 2020 was shit. But anyway, this was a decent show. Wasn't must see. Nothing in the bad for me. The only thing in the bad for me was that Brad Maddox promo segment. Most of the matches, the undercard was filler, was okay. Like the championship matches on the show were okay-ish. Like Curtis Axel versus The Miz, AJ Lee versus Caitlyn, John Cena versus Mark Henry, Ryback and Jericho was okay as well. They were just kind of there. But the good is the good, you know. On the pre-show, I always do it, you know. I'll count the pre-show matches in my overall thought of a classic WWE pay-per-view review. The tag team title match between Shield and Usos was really good. The 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches deliver. It's very hard which one's the match of the night for me. And also Del Rio Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship. Despite the finish was shit, it was leading up to the mixed tag team match at SummerSlam, but it was still fun for what it is. So yeah, it was a decent show, but it doesn't make me go, wow, I need to go back to watch Money in the Bank 2013. But it's just, you know, it's a fun show to watch. So anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed my review of Money in the Bank 2013. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the like, click the bell. Subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, I know it's later on in the month of this show, but I'm going to review it next time, because this month is the 25th anniversary of this show. This show marks of the famous and infamous Hell in the Cell match between The Undertaker and Mankind. Plus, you had Kane winning his one and only WWF Championship against Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I'm talking about. The next show I'm going to review is King of the Ring 1998. Until then, this is Essential Man officially signing out. Check you later, guys. And that's my review of Money in the Bank 2013.